Finance has a bigger role than possibly production on some of these farms.
You can get everybody in the same room, you're all on the same page.
Everyone's desperate for this service, and yeah.
I think the big one, Dan, is, I've commented enough on the TPAP stats that come out of the US every year, the Texas A&M stats, and financially the last 20 years, farms they haven't sustained it, they've actually gotten worse. So, as the numbers have gone up, as the risk has gone up, we've actually got less financial acumen in the industry today than we did over the last 20 years. So I think the big one is just understanding that finance has become front and center. It's kind of the last resort for farms. They care about operations, they care about sitting in the tractor cab, they care about production. That's what they were trained. That's what they're good at. The finance side tends to take a back seat, and I think in today's environment, as we're watching, as you said, the fertilizer prices, the grain prices, and everything else, we're starting to realize finance has a bigger role than possibly production on some of these farms. So the big one is understanding your numbers, knowing your numbers, and honestly working with a group such as the one we have assembled today. And going back to your comment, is a lot of groups see this as competitors. I've been on a call with everybody on this screen right now during consulting calls. I've got employees in our group that actually work with clients with all the other businesses on here. MNP, Roxanne, you and I worked well before I left, and we still work together on a whole bunch of clients. I think the big one is, and your catch line is, build the team. The team is what's going to get you across that financial hurdle, and the top 18 or the top 2, however you want to look at it, they're the ones who have put the team together, use their opinions, and then go out and make better decisions and real-time decisions with information that's up to date.
Yeah, Travis, I think it was you that was saying yesterday that it is really efficient to try and get all these folks together to rub shoulders now and then, because there's sort of that go around the horn and information translation. You pick up the phone, well, this person said that, and that, the lawyer and the insurance person and the banker and the financial statistician said this. It's efficient to have a room like this at times, right?
Yeah, referring to that old game of telephone, sitting in the classroom, you start with one comment, and by the time you get to the end of the room, it's a completely different comment. It can be the same in business when you're advising. You have one room, and then all of a sudden, if you can get everybody in the same room, you're all on the same page, getting the same story, which is kind of nice. It's helpful.
I love it. So for the Growlytics guys, you were talking about yesterday, there's a difference between confusing financial access with strategic advice, and Courtney will probably touch on this later, but giving money is one thing, or getting money, or the ability to get money. You might get finance for that zero turn, but can you really afford it? We know, by the way, that John Deere Credit's been asking about financials more than ever, which could be a canary in the coal mine. But what do you see as the nuance, or where does it fit in between lending and what you guys do at Growlytics?
I think it's, to Evan's point, a little bit about the advisory piece. Like, Growlytics started to reverse engineer the perfect credit deal. That's why we have Grow in the name. People, they know how to do the fundamentals, like Evan talked about, but we tried to reverse engineer timely access to capital. So we really built Growlytics around serving the banks, obviously serving the farm, but serving the banks and then serving the accounting firms as well. So it literally started with basic bookkeeping we needed to clean up a little bit, because if you take it right to the end and reverse engineer that perfect credit deal, it starts with the pile of paper rolling around the seat of your truck that doesn't get into the system to tell your story to someone. So you may be awesome at farming and good at it and everything, but I think that's the key piece that we've found and continue to find still. That's why we get along so good. It's such a blue ocean out there. Like, everyone's desperate for this service, and yeah.
I am not an engineer, so you have to explain to me the difference between reverse engineer and forward engineer, and when you do what and why.
Well, reverse engineering comes from, we were talking about the launch yesterday. So when NASA planted the flag on the moon,
right,
in the 60s or whatever, they reverse engineered it all. So what was the step just before they planted the flag, and reversed that whole process right down to who knows what, but to the very starting point of that process. So what people, I think farms don't quite understand is the finance. There's one thing to know your numbers and know your costs and know that, but it's another thing to know what numbers the banks are looking at, like debt service ratios and debt to tangible net worth, and all these ratios that put you in the best light possible in front of the bank. and understanding that I would rather the clients say that you never want to take bad deals to the bank, right, Courtney? You don't want your bank to tell you it's a bad deal. You need to know that. You don't need to even bring your bank into that discussion.
Courtney,
I
is
think
that
that's
true?
part
Is
of the
that
problem.
true? I mean, how do you view it? And does it behoove a farmer to only bring their best foot forward, or do they want to have honest and real conversations with their banker so you can plot to take over the world together?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a banking relationship should be an ongoing relationship and a partnership, and not just, we come to you only when we need something. There should be ongoing
Right.
discussions so that we're, part of the planning and part of the conversations of the vision and what the operation wants to do going forward. And I would say that, when somebody is approaching us or asking for something, if they've sort of done the math themselves or worked with somebody to kind of figure out how this pencils out, how does this fit into their longer term strategy, have done some of that legwork, that helps us too. We can have those conversations and help walk them through that. But if they're coming to the table with something, that speaks really highly of management strength and character too, which, from our side, there's the numbers have to work out, but equally important in any lending decision is reviewing like management and putting some thought around how these people are running their farm. Who are they bringing to the table? Who are they working with? Are they trying to do it all themselves? And that all goes into the discussion of like who are these people, and do we want to be in a relationship with them, because it is a two-way relationship. So it's all part of the picture.